welcome to our PA Day, which is focusing on Black History Month. For those of you that don't know, February is Black History Month, and it's just a time to focus on all of the trials and successes and just everything Black history, because we don't get the time for the rest of the year, unfortunately. So I'm very lightly going to touch on some topics. I do encourage you to continue to do your own research and continue to learn. There are a few resources down in the description box below, but of course you can always explore more at the library, at your school, online. There's lots of ways you can learn, just keep learning. So we're going to do two different crafts today. One, we're going to make Kente cloth, or a version of it using construction paper, and another we're going to create some art that mimics Alma Woodsey Thomas. So I'll explain some of that while we're making the art, and yeah, let's get started. Alright, so the first thing, we're going to need our pencil, scissors, a ruler, and different colored construction paper. And we do want them to be nice bright colors to keep in the tradition of Kente cloth. First thing we're going to do is we are just going to measure out strips this way on two of the pieces of paper. So I'm going to do it on the red and the yellow. So I'll set on the side. Now you can do it at certain widths, like you can measure out an inch, or I'm going to be using the width of my ruler. So that way I can just kind of line it up with the top of the page. And I'm just going to draw a straight line across. And then I'm going to kind of flip it, and it's going to line up down here with that line I just drew. Again, I'm going to draw a line across. So I'll just keep doing that until I filled up the whole paper. I'm going to do that again on the yellow one. And while I'm doing that, let's talk about a little bit about Kente cloth. So Kente cloth originated in the West African country of Ghana. It originally was worn by royalty, the wealthy, or highly respected people. So it's kind of a sign of respect to see someone in Kente cloth. But today it is worn by everyone, and it's often reserved for special occasions. Men tend to wear this cloth as like a toga or tied over one shoulder, while women will often wear it as a dress or a skirt. So a piece of Kente cloth is really just a random, is not. A piece of Kente cloth is not just random colors or patterns thrown together to look pretty. The beauty of this traditional African cloth is in the meaning of the cloth. There are colors that represent Africa. Red is for life and blood, blue is for innocence, green for Mother Africa and Mother Earth, black is for the people and unity, gold for strength and fortune. And these colors are often worn in Ghana and around the world to showcase African heritage. Now I'm also linking below a story that or a myth or a legend, or I'm not really sure what to call it, but it is very interesting to see where Kente cloth came from, and it started with a spider. So I highly recommend you check that out below. And now we're going to take our third color, and we're going to leave a bit at the top, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to eyeball this, but you can definitely measure if you want. So I'm going to do kind of a ruler's width. What I'm actually going to do is I'm just going to flip it, kind of do two. Okay, and then draw a line across, and now we're going to go the other way. Okay, so now we're going to cut. So we'll cut up here, but do not go past this line that you drew. And now we're going to cut out all of the strips that we drew on these pieces of paper. Put that little chunk aside. Scissors, ruler. And now we're going to start weaving. You can start with whatever color you want. You're going to go over the first strip, under the next, over, under, and I do have this little kind of baby strip at the end, and I'm going to go under. And you're just going to push it all the way up to the top until it's snug. Now I don't have any here with me, but if you have some glue, it might be nice to kind of just glue the two ends so that it stays in place. So we're gonna go again. So this time though, instead of starting over, we're gonna start under. Now I'm doing with 3 colors. If you wanted to do it with more, like 4 colors, that's fine too. Completely up to you. Two. Again, just make that nice. Whoops, made a mistake. Went under twice in a row. All right, let's try that again. There we go. So you should see that we only see yellow, but we don't see the red, so it shouldn't go red, yellow. And again, if you have glue and you want to, you can glue that down. I'm just going to keep going. And so you just keep going. So you've got a bit of a pattern here. Now I find sometimes with weaving, it is easier to kind of maybe do it on an angle, and then after I'm done, I can kind of just push it out and make it nice and tight. Now, if you end up with a little baby piece like I've got here, you can always just trim that off and make your paper just a little bit smaller. It might help with your design. There we go. I'm actually going to stop there. And leave that because I'm going to end up doing some fringe at the top and bottom, so I kind of like it to be similar sizes. And so again, if we glue this down, you just nicely flip it over and you kind of got like a more seamless design here. And this is where we're going to take our Sharpies if you've got them. If not, you can use a pen, pencil, whatever you've got on hand, and we're going to add some design elements to this. So there's lots of things you can do. Keep in mind that traditional Kente cloth is very geometrical, so not so much weavies and circles, but very like straight lines. But let's just start drawing. Let's see. I'm just gonna go quick so you can see what I'm talking about in terms of the design. And it is very much so a repeating pattern. So you'll see here that on the yellows, I'm doing the exact same thing. I'll do the same on the reds and the greens. Again, keep in mind, I'm doing it fast, just to show you kind of some options. You might want to take some more time with yours. Alright, so there's my repeating design, and now I'm just going to cut some fringe. So I'll just cut these ones into smaller strips. So to me that kind of gives it more of a cloth-like look. Totally up to you if you want to do that or not. But yeah, that's kind of it. It's Kente cloth. I do, again, highly, highly recommend you check out the resources down below to learn more. It is very interesting, but keep in mind this is only like a brief look and it gets a lot deeper. And yeah, so let's set this one aside and we will work on our next one. All right, so our second piece of art or craft, whatever you want to call it, is to make something inspired by painter Alma Woodsey Thomas. So what you're going to need is a pencil, canvas or piece of paper to paint on, something circular to trace, paint of course, and paint brushes. You can also use Q-tips or something like that. First thing you're going to do is trace your cup or your circle anywhere on your design. There we go. And now we're going to get painting. So the first thing we're going to do is color in our circle. Just let me pour out some paint. I'm only using 3 colors today. They are the primary colors, so I can mix more. But you don't have to go crazy if you don't want to. Alma is known for her colorful paintings, as you can see, but it's your art too, so make it your own. All right, so while I'm painting my circle, let me tell you a little bit about Alma. Alma is an African-American expressionist and painter and art educator that created some beautiful and colorful paintings. Her medium, or what she liked to use to create her art, was acrylic paint, which is what I'm using, on canvas, which is also what I'm using. Again, if you don't have this, that's fine. We don't have to make it exactly like hers. Yeah. So Alma was born in 1891 in Georgia. And when she was 16, she moved to Washington, D.C. to seek relief from the racial violence in the South, because it was a very rough time to be an African American or Black in the southern U.S. She had dreamt from a little girl being an architect and building bridges, but unfortunately that wasn't in the cards for her at that time, being a woman. So instead she attended university and became a teacher at a junior high school. So after you've done that, we're going to start by making dots around. So I'm going to do yellow next. Alma's early art was very realistic, but her professor and a peer of hers challenged her to experiment with abstraction. So something that it doesn't look like a tree or a turtle, it's something completely unique. So she debuted her work, her abstract work, in 1966, when she was 75 years old. So I've only got 2 paintbrushes, but what I'm going to do to create a different effect is use the back of one of them. So the Q-tip, we'll move that here. Alma has become an important model for women, African American, and older artists, just as like an example of what you can do no matter how old you are, or whether you're a male or a female. And she's even exhibited her paintings at the White House multiple times, which is something not many artists get to say. So if you'd like to learn more about Alma, I have lots of resources down below to help you get started. There's lots you can learn about her. I do encourage you to check out her art and learn more about her life. But yeah. So this one is one of the paintings that we're kind of recreating or mimicking. You can also do it, instead of starting off with a circle, is you can just do much like this painting. So we're just going to keep going around and around until we fill the whole canvas. So I've mixed up some green here. I'll use that as well in my art. It's not as vibrant as I'd hoped, but that's okay. So of course our art, at least my art, isn't as good as hers was, but I think it's a great way to honor a great artist who did some inspiring work and really opened the door for a lot of people. And I'm really enjoying my Kente cloth. I might put it up as decoration in my room, which is something of course you can do as well. Again, I can't stress this enough. This is just the tip of the iceberg in terms of Black History Month and all of the things you can learn. I do have resources about Alma Woodsey Thomas and Kente cloth below, but there's so much more to learn. And I encourage you to check out some of the resources I've got below and try to find your own. Thank you guys, I hope you have a great day, and feel free to send us what you've been working on if you want.